Hello, we're here today at Sibos 2015 in Singapore this year, one of the financial capitals of the world. My name is Chris Principe, I'm from Financial IT, and I'm pleased to say I'm here with my good friend Alexander from AxiomSL. Hi,
Thank you, Chris. So appreciate the opportunity to speak to your audience.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time for us. I'd like if you could tell us a little bit about your company.
So my company AxiomSL has been in business since early 90s, specifically 91. I'm the founder, and we are specialists in the technology space for regulatory risk management, disclosure and reporting to various governments, as well as management reporting globally. So we are in 14 countries around the globe, providing financial institutions, various classes, banks, brokers, and asset managers, with the solutions to help them to look good, both to their customers as well as to the regulators. As you know, since especially the last decade was filled with regulatory tsunami, as we call it.
Yes.
And there's been a lot going on in the financial industry to be able to comply with all the burdensome regulations, as many banks put it. But I see it also, and so is the many in our industry, see it as an opportunity, because regulators became very advanced, especially over the last 6-7 years since the financial crisis. They were able to come up with a very prescriptive guidelines on what they expect financial institutions to do, and trying to get the financial industry into a much more safer mode.
I find that very interesting. If you don't mind, for me, you are a compliance pioneer. I mean, you've been in the compliance side long before it became the industry that it is today.
Absolutely.
Where it's the first thing off of everybody's lips in the industry.
It's true. Compliance has been a very important part of financial industry. However, the institutions have initially took it lightly, because everyone was focused on more of the money-making opportunities. With the globalization and emphasis on safer financial industry in the last 7-8 years, financial industry now has a lot of focus on regulatory compliance, as well as infrastructure which comes with it, technology infrastructure, because with so much going on in the financial industry and changes that regulators impose, banks finally see the need to look at it strategically. They're investing a lot in the technology platforms, making technology much more agile to all the changes that take place, and this is where Axiom has been very successful. We are now servicing close to 80% of Tier 1 banks globally. We also provide some of the most demanding regulatory solutions for United States, Singapore, and all over Asia and Europe. As you know, U.S., particularly with the Dodd-Frank Act, has been inundated with all the changes all across banking and asset management. Most recent ones are the CCAR, the capital requirements and analysis, So we're helping banks with their stress testing, with disclosure in the United States and globally. Another big regulation that came into place includes IHC, which is for foreign banks, which are above certain threshold. They have to establish holding companies, which is a big challenge with the new entities and providing all the same regulations, disclosures as the U.S. banks. So we are in the forefront of this regulation. And particularly in Asia, as well as globally, I would say, liquidity has been a big item with LCR ratio and SFR, and we are being very active providing financial institutions with this technology, both for analytics as well as for reporting. It's part of Basel requirement.
Well, I find that all very interesting, and you're filling such a very valid need. I've spoken recently to a bank who said whatever our budget was for compliance this year, we're adding 50% because we don't know what the new regulations are, and you're the person that knows. So can you give me some idea of what are some of the key things that you've heard here this week so far in Sibos?
So in Sibos particularly, as you know, Sibos is a SWIFT conference, so a lot of it has to do with payments, and payments are directly linked to the liquidity. So we hear that there are a lot more new regulations coming on board. Many of the countries contemplating to monitor not just liquidity at certain points in times, but intraday liquidity, which is a big function of payments, tracking, consolidating, and doing a lot of calculations and monitoring all the liquidity ratios, and particularly the impact on the overall capital.
Alexander, clearly you were a bit ahead of your time starting into compliance in the late 90s, so you're probably the right man to ask, what direction are things going? What are the trends that we should be looking at going forward?
So I believe that the direction that banking industry is moving to is more of a customer-centric, with all the technology and analytics that's coming into the future. We will see, and this is my company is also working on that. We actually see analytics becoming much more robust, much more real-time, particularly coupled with the data governance and a strong data integration capabilities. It will be much more customer-centric. And because capital is such an important area of the financial world, particularly banks, we see the need to optimize capital utilization. And if you use strong analytics and strong data management platform as ours, you have ability to actually be much more customer focused and deliver the products to the customers with the minimum burden to the financial institutions, and to utilize all of the resources much more efficiently.
Well, the takeaway for me is customer-centric, data management, and the compliance industry.
Yes.
Alexander.
And don't forget that analytics.
And analytics.
Analytics is very important.
Well, it pulls everything together.
Absolutely. Exactly.
You need that to be able to make those decisions on your day-to-day business.
Exactly.
You've been able to accomplish that, and the financial services market is going to be better for it. Alexander, we'd like to thank you very much for the time you've spent with us at Financial IT, and wish you a very successful Sibos.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
Have a good day. Thank you. Chris Principe, Financial IT.